Hey everyone, Sam here. Today's video is going to be a little bit different because I'm actually covering, I guess, a game that I don't normally cover in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This is because recently I've been playing quite a few games and I have been absolutely loving it. And as you will know, in Pokemon I love making, well, pretty much random sets with useless mons and hopefully try to get a bit of success from them. So, today I'm looking at an interesting mon that I think may have some potential, and if not, then it will at least be a bit of fun, and that Pokemon is Toxicroak. The reason for this is because the past few games that I have been playing, I have been using a support core, well, pretty much of Incineroar. Incineroar is my support mon. I usually use it with like a Glamora, so I can Meteor Beam things. Goldengo, so I can also Sludge Wave instead of just Sludge Bombing, because obviously still is immune to poison. But I have used Ogerpon for redirection, but I'm just not a huge fan of it. Providing I am using the fire type version of Ogerpon and not the water one. I believe it's the Wellspring Mask, the water one. And I just think there could be potentially better options considering what Incineroar does, and I kind of want a vice versa of what Incineroar embodies and just be able to kind of do it again, but more so on the special side. And that's where I started thinking of Toxicroak. One of the main reasons I was thinking of Toxicroak was predominantly because of its ability Dry Skin, and my entire thought process originally came from the fact that I was going to make a Shell Smash Blastoise just to mess around and see what happens, because I found out at this EV spread of 172 special EVs on, I believe it was Modest. After a Shell Smash, I one-hit KO and I outspeed Fluttermane, max speed Fluttermane as well. So this is where this idea originated from. But I wanted a partner with this because I wanted a partner that could deal with allowing a Blastoise to kind of set up, so I needed something to fake out. I needed something with knockoff to kind of just disrupt the enemy team. Priority has always been a big issue at the moment. My team consists of really King Gambit that really uses Sucker Punch, and that's kind of it really. Other than Incineroar, which also has Fake Out, but it's only a first turn priority move. So I was kind of going for a bit of a checklist, and Toxicroak seems to tick off quite a bit in a very interesting way, because typically looking at Toxicroak's base stats, it's 65 in both defenses and 83 base HP, which isn't actually that high. However, with Incineroar being able to be a part of this kind of team core, as well as having Intimidate and stuff like that, it does help with the defensive side of Toxicroak. You're not going to have Incineroar and Toxicroak out on the same time on the field. They're kind of be like switching and covering each other in a sense. For example, Toxicroak is notoriously 4 times weak to Psychic. However, Incineroar is immune to it, being part Dark. And that also comes into account when thinking about the Terra type of this mon. But first, let's go through the spread of this Toxicroak. I pretty much, as I was trying to kind of like mimic the Incineroar that I'm using, just go for a very, very bulky Pokemon that was able to help as kind of like a support part of a team, so it can allow something else to set up and basically get the kills for it. This mon is in no way intended to start sweeping. It is purely intended to try and just disrupt, cause issues, clean up. If like Shenpao's on its sash, I can just bullet punch, easy takeout, as well as just covering the types that Incineroar can't do. The reason that I'm running Assault Vest on this mon is because I found out that this Toxicroak, being poison and fighting, it's not resistant to Fairy, but is neutral, meaning that at 184 Spadef investment and Assault Vest, you can actually live a Choice Specs, was it Moonblast, on 50%, providing that the Fluttermane is bulky. And considering that this is a Toxicroak, I found this very, very impressive. You do have to be careful nature, so you are kind of, you're literally prepping for it. But I just found that very interesting. And considering that Fluttermane is so common, being able to not only tank it, but also have a bit of chip damage previous to tanking it is really, really good. And also considering it's able to at least take neutral damage from the rest of the common moves that it's currently using. Furthermore, a big part of this was the ability Dry Skin. Because I am using Incineroar as like an Intimidate user, one of the most common mons that I'm coming into is Urshifu, and it is so annoying to come up against. Because of Incineroar, I can not only come out and Intimidate on a first turn, I can then just insta-switch, go into Toxicroak, and not only have huge special bulk because of the Assault Vest and Special Defense investment, as well as the type, and like being able to tank Flutter Mane is really good. But I'm immune to Rapid Strikes. I'm just completely immune to it because of Dry Skin. If you don't know, it heals me as well. As well as if they put Rain up, it's gonna support me, but that's just like a byproduct of it. That's not what I'm interested in. A drawback is that I am quite weak to fire, 1.25, but thinking about it, the mons that are going to be doing quite heavy fire damage is stuff like Entei, and I don't really want to be facing Entei anyway, predominantly because they're going to be attacking on the physical side, as well as having stuff like high horsepower anyway, so either way I would have been weak to it, whether I've got Dry Skin or not. So I just think this is a really good defensive ability. And I can always just switch back into Incineroar pretty much. The moveset of this mon is... So, this is what kind of stuffed me a bit. Because Fake Out Knockoff was kind of default. I know I needed Fake Out. Knockoff is kind of a bonus that I like for disrupting ones, I've already said this. Bullet Punch is predominantly for Flutter Mane, just to be able to... Well, I don't even need to outspeed because I've got the priority, it's weak to it. It's not stab or anything, which is not the best, but Bullet Punch is always like a pretty good move, to be honest. Drain Punch is stab, however, this is the main slot that I'm kind of mixed with, because you don't have to run Drain Punch. You could run something like Poison Jab. You could completely flip this on its head and run negative attack plus Bidef? What nature is that? You could run Calm and Sludge Wave? You could run Sludge Wave for spread, but that would be a completely different set to be completely thinking about it. Like, you wouldn't be able to do that with this set. But Toxicroak does get quite a bit of coverage. He's got IX Punch. You could go for just Gunk Shot, even if you want to go for the accuracy loss. Obviously, it's only 80%, but it is stab plus 120 base. You could go Bulk Up if you really wanted to, which will help with that defense and also give you a +1. You could go for some other just disruptive moves and Chilling Water. You got Close Combat for stab. You can, I don't know, I guess you could run Cross Jump if you really wanted to. You could run EQ for more coverage across like the entire field. You could also run Encore, so it's just predominantly support, which is kind of what this mon is doing at the end of the day. I'm just interested in Drain Punch because I want to use this mon in a few games before deciding if I need that recovery or not. Because Dry Skin is going to provide me some recovery anyway if I'm being able to switch properly. Because of like common mons like not Roaring Moon, Walking Wake Hydro Steam. You've got anything using Muddy Water. You've obviously got the Rapid Strikes from Urshifu, and pretty much any water moves. You could also Scalds on Suicunes. That's a possibility. Anything bulky, just trying to get some burn. You could also do that on your Toxicroak, and it just heals it straight back up, which is really good. And like I said, the main idea of this is to kind of vice versa Incineroar and basically provide coverage for it. The reason that we have gone for Terra Flying in this case is actually quite an interesting one, and that is because I was kind of stuck between Terra Flying and Terra Dark, because obviously the 4 times weak to Psychic is a complete hindrance. You go against a Trick Room team, you go against a lot of support mons, you're going to be facing Psychic moves. Even stuff like what's the futuristic Cabalion, that's part Psychic. The Terrakion I think is part Psychic as well, and it's just a massive hindrance. And I was thinking about it, because I was like, if I just Terra Dark, then I'm completely immune to it. It completely knocks it out. It's perfect. However, I have realised that both my Incineroar and Toxicroak are quite weak to ground moves. So Storming Tantrum, Earthquake, Earth Power, anything like that. So I've decided to go for Terra Flying to turn that weakness into a complete immunity. And because it doesn't it doesn't just protect the Toxicroak, it also protects the Incineroar. Because any mons that are going to use Psychic or stuff like that, I can switch into my Incineroar and I'm already immune to it. So there's no reason for me to double up on that dark typing, if you know what I'm saying. So I might as well go for the flying and try and provide enough immunity for my team, just to kind of cover as many bases as possible. Even though it does leave me open to, for example, oh, what's it called? What's the Raikou called? The Scarlet Raikou that has Thunderclap. So it has priority base 70 special priority. It's basically Sucker Punch if it was special and electric. And that completely leaves me open to it because I have Assault Vest. I might have plus Spadef, but I'm then going to be weak to electric and I'm only attacking. So I fall for that every single time. It has more priority. It's going to get the first hit off. And that's something you're just going to have to take into account when thinking about when you're going to use your Toxicroak, if you are going to use it. And I believe I had another calculation up which was quite interesting, which was this, which is the Urshifu calculation with Surgeon Strikes, not Rapid Strikes. Been calling it wrong this entire time. But this is the main point of it. You just hard wall it. Even with Assault Vest and Spadef, you literally have 0 defense investment on a 65 base defense mon, and you just hard wall it. Even close combat is 42 to 49%. At that point, Urshifu's getting targeted down easily. Even if you're not going to get anything much back, so you're not going to be able to do much damage back, you can knock off, you can remove its Choice Scarf, you can also fake it out on the first turn. You got Bullet Punch to try and do some damage. What happens if I put these to -1, so after a close combat? Let's have a look. Yeah, so at -1, after one close combat, you can recover 20% of your health with one Drain Punch, which is really, really, really good. Providing that you have coverage to try and look after it. But yeah, this is the kind of thing that would require more calculations in very specific scenarios. This is purely me just brainstorming on not even an entire core of a team, literally just a duo to kind of see how two supportive mons can kind of cover each other's bases and allow for quite a lot of versatility in the rest of the team. Because in this format, it's obviously typical VGC, you've got 6v6, but it's also you're going into battles of 4v4. The reason that I'm specifically targeting 2 mons is because I want to get my 2 support mons down and kind of focus, so I know exactly what they're doing, I know how they do it, and I know exactly what they're planning to do, and which allows me to have extra possibilities in terms of what setup mons I want, like Goldingo, Nasty Plot, stuff like that, my Glamora, Meteor Beam, and that's exactly why we are looking at these different variants. But that's it for today. This is purely just speculations, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if you want to see more videos on this. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye bye.